Hey, welcome to the UI UX Design and Research class for Textilers Cohort 4, Week 5. If you are just joining us for the first time, remember you can go to our YouTube channel to download our previous lessons. I'm going to be dropping all the PowerPoint slides for the previous lessons on the chat panel so that you can download them from there. I'm also leaving the YouTube channel link for you to catch up on our classes. Okay, so welcome, and let me go right to the topics for today. This cohort is drawing to a close, so I'm going to be treating 3 modules today so that I can meet up with the target. The cohort is almost over, so I need to finish all my modules. We've not been able to have class for 2 Saturdays due to the Power Platform Bootcamp. I have a couple of modules to go, so okay, so I'm going to catch up by going into 3 modules today. Okay, so I would like to know if you can hear me and if you can see my screen. Hello?
Hi, I can hear you. I can see your screen. So
All
yeah,
right,
I
thank
think
you
I'm
so
the only
much.
one in class.
Yes, thank you so much. All right, so I'll just go right ahead. Okay, so today we're going to be looking at what a problem statement is. Remember, the goal of UI UX is to solve a problem. And unless you're able to figure out what that problem is, you're not going to truly understand what you're designing, who you're designing for, and what is expected after people are able to use your products. So you need to be able to figure out what the problem is. And we went into research. We talked to a couple of people to be able to pick out some major pain points that they are facing as regards to the food app that we are designing for this particular project, for this cohort. So we did our research, we got our data back, we did some affinity mapping to be able to pick out the core problems that people are having when it comes to using a food app, so that we'll be able to improve on whatever pain it is they are currently experiencing. And we got a couple of feedbacks. We did our affinity mapping. We were able to get insights from our affinity mapping. And then we went on to create a persona. We want to group our people, our users, into different categories of people that are supposed to or would potentially use our apps. And we said to create that persona from your interview, from the people you've interviewed, you'll be able to group these users according to age, according to their goals, according to their frustrations, and we'll group them differently because different people are experiencing different things when it comes to using a food app. So we said we need to group these people so that we can understand the categories of users that we are building the app for, so that we'll be able to build an app that would cut across these different kinds of groups of people. Instead of just building for one group, we'll be able to put in features in our app that can carry other groups, and we'll be able to put in features that every other group will be able to access when they are trying to use our app. Now we are at problem statement. We said, okay, fine and good. We figured out these people that are going to use our app, our potential users. We have interviewed them. We've heard a lot of things they've said, but now we need to streamline. We need to summarize these problems into one. We need it to be a statement that whenever that would be able to cover all these general pain points that people are going through. So we need to sum it up into one problem, because you need to start from fixing the core problem before you move into any other problem that follows. So there's a way you'll be able to sum up 10 different problems into one. So that's where problem statement comes in. Your ability to be able to sum up most of your core problems into one would be able to give you a foundation of the major thing you need to build for and the major thing you need to tackle when you are building this app. So basically, a problem or problem that we seek to solve with our design. Oh, sorry, I have to go back to that. Okay, a problem statement or problem to solve, simply put, is the focal point of the rest of our project. It's the goal we strive for when conducting the rest of our design thinking process. If we are unable to figure out these parts, it means we are going to fail, because this is the core of the entire app, our ability to solve a problem. So if we cannot figure out, if we are unable to sum up our problems into one major problem, then chances are that we will not arrive at an app that would actually solve anything. And that is what is most common with apps around. One person just decides, oh, this app will do this, it will solve this problem without any research, without trying to figure out how to sum up that problem to take care of other problems. And then you create this app, you put it up in a Play Store, and nobody is using it. When people try to use it, they get frustrated. But when you are able to address core problems that people want to fix, then you have more people using your app. It's what we ideate around, what we design a solution towards, and what we reference as we deliver our product. Every idea now that we are going to come up with is around whatever this problem statement is. So you can move through your design thinking process without figuring this part out. A problem statement is a way to explain. Oh, sorry, let me move this thing. Where is star black? Okay. A problem statement is a way to explain the problems users need your UX design to solve and why. You should be able to state it categorically at this stage, what you want to solve with your design. Remember, UX design is not just about, okay, we want to create nice, lovely interface for our softwares. Whatever, no matter how pretty your interface looks, if your users are unable to navigate it, you're just creating more problems for them. You're just creating more problems for them. If they cannot navigate it, if they are looking for a feature and they cannot easily locate it, you're just creating more problems for them. You're not solving anything for them. So now, that is why you have to be able to sum up your problem statement and build on it. Make sure everything else you're doing from this point is answering the why, the what, the where, and the who. We're going to go further into that in the next slide. However, if it's too broad, it will leave many possible solutions open. That's why we're saying we are summing it up. We'll sum up 10 problems into one. But when we are unable to make it a statement, we're just opening up many possible solutions that may be impossible for us to solve on one app. So I want to make something really clear. An app can address so many problems, right? But it has a primary problem to solve. That primary problem, it's the one problem that a majority of your users from your research are having. If you are able to figure out the core problems and sum it up, it doesn't mean you cannot solve other problems with that app. But you need to start from figuring out the core problem. When you are able to build around the core problem, as people use your app and maybe leave reviews after they have used your app, you will now start noticing, okay, people want to see an additional feature that would help them address another problem. And it is okay for you to keep solving those problems one at a time. If it's a problem that is you notice, okay, somebody left a review, your filter is not bringing out the information that are imputed in your search bar. It's a problem. So for the fact that you address the core problem doesn't mean you wouldn't solve that one. You say, oh, after all, I've already figured out the main problem. Every other person should manage. That's not how it works. The core problem is just that main problem that the app was built to solve in the first place. But other problems can arise as well. And as they arise, you keep solving them. You keep solving them until you have an app that is near perfect. People always have problems with an app. No matter what feature you put in it, people will always have problems. But if you have built an app that serves millions of people with very few complaints, your app is still a success. Because sometimes maybe whatever another user wants to be in the app is something that doesn't really need to be there. And it doesn't mean that when everybody calls for, oh, can you add a feature that does this? Can you add a feature that does that? You have to now keep adding these features because users are telling you to add it. It has to make sense. Does it flow with every other thing that is going on the app? Does it make sense for me to add this type of feature? If it doesn't make sense, then you don't have to add it. And how do you know it will make sense? From research. You can keep doing more research. The truth is, the work of a UX designer doesn't end just because you have delivered the final design. And that's where we keep stressing about iterating. As people use the app, they are going to find issues with the app that you need to correct. However, not all corrections are corrections. If they tell you, oh, correct this, if it does not flow with the usage of the app, you do not have to include it. So you need to narrow it down to the core problem so that you can have a sense of direction for the solution. unless you have one problem statement, you're going to have to come up with a gazillion solutions. That said, there's no one right way to create a problem statement. There's no one right way. No matter how you reach your final problem statement, it should be user-focused. It's all about the user, which means you should begin with identifying a user and their need and include an idea of why they require that need to be met. That is where persona comes in, because we are using a persona of what somebody needs and what it means for them to use our app to be able to solve their problem. And we said in persona that if you are able to figure that out for one persona, it doesn't mean that you are solving just one person's problem, because there could be 1 million other people that would fit into the description as well, who want to meet the same need as that one persona that you created. Problem statements are based on 4 Ws. These kinds of problem statements uses the 4 Ws techniques to create a statement that outlines who has the problem. Who are we building this for? You have to figure that out in trying to create your problem. Say, who am I building for? What is their problem? What are they trying to solve? Then you move to, okay, what is the problem? What is that problem that they want to solve? Who is the user now? What is the person's problem? What is the problem? Where do you experience this problem? Our where now is, we know that there are a lot of food apps out there. And all these apps come with one disadvantage or the other. And we said the goal of our own is to meet nutritional needs of people, right? So we're asking, okay, if people want an app that they can order food based on their nutritional requirements, it means it's because they don't have anywhere else to be able to do that. And that is why they will need your app. So where are they experiencing these things? From the apps around. That's where they have problems. That's where they're experiencing their problems. They cannot order for moi moi that will arrive and it will not be peppery, because it has to be peppery. And the moi moi was made for all. It was not for them. It was not specifically targeted for people like them that cannot eat pepper. You finish ordering for your jollof rice. Jollof rice has garlic. And you don't like garlic. But your own app, you are trying to create an app that will give you features where you can indicate that you like garlic and you do not like garlic. Where it will show where you like pepper and you do not like pepper. So that by the time your meal arrives, you taste it, you don't feel pepper. You taste it, you don't feel garlic. And you're happy. You had a good experience using the app and getting what you want. And then explain why your solution should deliver a specific user experience. So your problem statement has to capture all this. Who is the person that has this problem? What is the person's problem? Where are they experiencing this problem? And then why should my solution deliver a specific user experience to solve this user's problem? Your problem statements should be able to carry all that. That's why we said we are summarizing it into one major problem. In order to encourage brainstorming in the next phase of design thinking process, you can state the last part of this kind of problem statement in a form of a question. We're going to get to brainstorming very shortly. Okay, so based on this, our first task for today, remember we are doing 3 modules today. Our first task for today is simple. Write a problem statement for your product. That's your food app that we have been working on from the beginning of these modules. Write a problem statement for your product and submit it on the Microsoft Teams channel. Go and watch a video tutorial on how to write a problem statement. If my lesson on this is not clear, you have to keep researching until a particular topic makes sense to you. When I started this course, when I started UX design, there were things I had to watch a video of over and over, go to read articles over and over for me to understand. You're not going to figure out how to write a problem statement just because I taught you about creating a problem statement just now. It's going to take time. But the most important thing is that you are trying to figure it out on your own, or if you need more explanation on this, you can still contact me to try and go another route for you to understand it. Now we are moving on to lightning demo. Lightning demo is an exercise in UI UX. And this exercise helps you get inspiration and ideas of what you want your app to look like. The lightning demo is basically an exercise in stealing and adapting. What does this mean? You're going to go and look. I want to build a food app, Abi. I will do my research to see if there are similar apps out there that solve the problems and the problem I am trying to solve with my own. So or related problem. It doesn't have to be the exact same problem, related problem. At this point, since we are doing food app in general, we can just go to a couple of different food apps. They don't have to be apps that are trying to solve the same problem we're trying to solve. They just need to be food apps. What are you looking for? You're trying to steal an idea. It's stealing in design is allowed. The only thing you cannot do is to go and carry somebody's design verbatim and come and make it your own. At most, when you go to your competition's website or app, maybe you see a button style there that you like. You can pick the button style. Then you go down, then you see the way photos are placed in a particular section. You can decide, oh, I like the way these images were placed. I'm going to try and incorporate it into my design. You screen grab it. You're not screen grabbing people's entire website now. You're just going to different websites and seeing nice features that they have that can help spur up your own creativity and spur up your own ideas. So in the first round, you will give participants now. That's if you are working in a team. If you're working in a team, usually, the work of UI UX is not a work done by one person. If a UI UX research is going on, you're going to find different people in your team. There are times you may have to work alone on some projects, but if a company hires you, chances are they already have other UI UX designers there, and you won't be handling an entire project yourself. You'll be handling a part of the project yourself. They can just decide, okay, you're the one that will be in charge of the research, or you're the one that will be in charge of the research writing, or you are the one that is going to handle the interface designs, or you're going to handle the ideation process. So if you're working in a team, chances are the roles will be shared. So that's why this statement looks like this. So you will give participants about 20 to 30 minutes to search for 3 services, 3 products or companies that have solved similar problems that the one you are looking for ideas for. Similar problems, not the same problems. Remember, you're trying to solve a fresh problem. So the problems will only be similar. They can never, ever be the same. So for each of the competitor you find, the person must create a little visual summary of what are the interesting elements they could steal. We have a food app, right? We can decide we're going to go to Jumia food app. We'll scroll through the app. We're going to see how some of the pictures were placed. Maybe we like it. We're going to screen grab that part. Then we like the button style. We're going to screen grab it. Then maybe we like the font type, you know. But the idea is to not do all that from one particular site. That is why you have to choose maybe 3 apps, 3 food apps. Then you just pick some elements from all these 3 apps that could come in handy for you when you are trying to do your final design. This is a lightning demo for a solo travel app. It's not complete, but this will give you an idea of where to start from. Now, in building this solo app, I'll try and explain each of these images. I visited 3 sites. And I saw how all these elements from different sites gave me ideas. I even Googled colors, travel colors, and I added it to my lightning demo. Like, oh, okay, see the different kinds of travel colors. So it means if I want to build an app, if you notice, I have a lot of it here because you are just trying to create like an idea board, simply put. Then I saw all these nice colors and I'm like, I can decide to just go with any of these palettes here. But I saw a couple of them and I found that interesting. And if you notice, I arranged it. I put the bright colors on top. I put the not so bright colors down. So that if I decide, okay, which colors will I go for my traveling app? I might say, oh, I like the not so bright colors down. And then I'm probably going to mix up all these shades that are down. That's why I have a couple of them, because for me, one palette is not enough. So if I can blend all the palettes down, I should be able to get like another unique color palette for my colors that I'm going to be using on my app. Or I might not even use any of them. Nothing says that because you have done this, you must use these ideas. Believe me, sometimes when you start creating your app and using this as an inspiration, another inspiration can come where you don't even need any of these things that you have here on the board. But however, they will serve as a guide. Now, if you look at the top, the travel trusted brands now, it gave me an idea that if my travel app can show some popular brands that it might have mentioned it, like in this case, these apps have been mentioned on all these media outlets. And you know, people believe media, especially popular media. I mean, there's CNN here. There's a Travel Weekly magazine here. There's the Washington Post here. There's the New York Times here. Those are very popular news brands that when you put on your website, people feel safe, because you know we're talking traveling here. So people want to feel safe that, oh, if I use this app to organize my travel, I want to feel safe. And for the fact that these media people mentioned it at some point, it means it's a really good one. You know, we like to associate our bias, our beliefs with what's popular. You can go to the market now, you would find different kinds of jeans, but because one is carrying a popular designer rather, maybe you find an Old Navy jeans, or you find a Levi's, then you now find another brandless jean. There's no tag on it. Chances are you are going for Levi's or your Old Navy jean. Why is that? They are just popular brands that stood out to you and made you feel like, okay, I'm sure because this is Levi's, it has to be a good jean. This one that there's no label on it, I cannot risk my money on it. So when you're able to put trusted brands that have, believe it, it's not just you're going to carry brands and slap on your app. Your services are going to be so good that people will talk about it. Popular companies will associate themselves. So let's say we build a food app, and then somewhere there would say we can put some top brands that have associated with our food app. Maybe a popular company made a food order and we delivered on it, and we are able to establish some sort of partnership. Okay, anytime you have an event like this, can we be your food vendors? And they say yes. It means people have entered some sort of partnership. You can feel free to display their logo on your app, so that the next person that is trying to use your logo, when they see this, they'll be like, these people have supplied food to this particular brand before. Wow. Then they trust you. You've established trust for your users. So you're going to have to, as the owner of the app now, this is not necessarily a UX designer's problem. The person that owns the original app, maybe someone that contracted you now, this is one way they can put themselves out there. So, but you building the app, you can tell this story that I'm telling you, so that person will be deliberate about working with brands that can make them look credible. Because as a UI UX designer, you are also a marketer. You are trying to build something that people will use. So it is you who would give that advice, like, okay, if you are able to work with certain brands, we can put it on display on this app so that other people coming will trust you immediately. So it's left for the marketers of the DC to bring that to fusion. But you as a UX designer, since it's not your own personal product, you can't just go and slap people's brands on it. The person who deals with them directly will have to do that, because if you see, they wrote featured in. And the featured in is just, okay, I think the site I went to get this, I've forgotten the name of the travel. I think it's It's a popular travel website. So I'm sure, okay, in the New York Times, they mentioned it that so travel app did something, then they wrote it down. Oh, we were featured in an article, we were featured in a news, we were featured in an editorial. Our name was mentioned. And that is why, and the reason our name was mentioned is because we are this good. So they include it in their website. You go to travel, accommodation, and category and pricing. When I saw that on Airbnb and B, I'm like, okay, I should be able to have a page like this on my app so that people can book where they want to go and stay. And I particularly liked the feature because it's just straight to the point. It shows you, okay, this is the location. I have Abuja, Nigeria here, hosted by so person, and this space is going to be available between so date and so date, and the amount I need to pay per night. I felt like it was a nice thing that I can add to my app. I took it from Airbnb. Then I also came across illustrations. I was like, wow, illustrations can give my app like another feel. They can give it, I can decide that I'll use the illustrations on my onboarding process. That is those first screens you see on an app that is teaching you how to onboard, how to use this app. I felt like, okay, that would be a nice feature as well. Then travel reviews, very essential. Very essential. If you want people to trust your product, you should be able to allow those who have used it before to rate it and leave reviews. When people come and they see, oh, there's a good review about this, there's a bad review about this, they are more likely to trust you than when there's no review at all. You can't be that great. You know, they'll tell themselves that. So you mean there's nothing wrong with this app? You mean that everything on this app is perfect? That on its own is a red flag. But when they're able to see, oh, okay, there are solo travelers that have complained about one thing or the other. There are solo travelers that did like a particular process, and they are seeing real life stories, reviews. They are able to relate with your product and trust it more because you gave room for people to leave their reviews. And as long as you keep fixing those problems that they are complaining about, you're going to keep having a better and better app until users come and they can't really see any review but a good one. And if your review is good and there are no issues, it makes the next user trust it. Oh, I'm seeing a lot of 5 stars. Wow, wow, wow. It means that this app is really amazing. And then they jump on it. The app doesn't necessarily have to have like mistakes. You can go on an app, and because of how amazing the app is, all you're going to be seeing is 4 stars, 5 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars. And another person will just believe that, oh, everything's going well on this app. And it will make them use it. I saw this picture of how to book your flights, how to find hotel, and then your visa. There are people that struggle with that when they want to travel. So if they have like an agent, it means you on your website, you have created a gateway for them to have these things sorted out in one place. They come, they find their book flights, how they can book their flights without going to the airport, without calling anybody. All they just have to do is to follow the processes from your website, because your website is the gateway now to all these places. And oh, you are looking for a hotel in the location you're going, there's a feature for it. Oh, from here I can just book my hotel and I'll leave. And then they are seeing, oh, you even have like a visa, a way to get your visa right from one website. It's like an all-in-one package in one place. And there's nobody that does not like that. Everybody wants that. Nobody likes the stress. So users will enjoy that whole experience of, wow, I can just do everything from one place. With a click of a button, I'm going to be on my way traveling. Because you can even book your bowls and everything that will come and pick you from your door. That's how it works for most advanced countries. But for us in Nigeria here, we are getting there. We're getting there gradually. A lot of amazing apps are coming up, and it's making a lot of people's lives easier. But I know that in most advanced countries, where you just fill the information, you just wait for your Uber, your Lyft, your Bolt. They come, they get you to the airport. When you are returning, they come, they bring you back home. Like, it's that seamless. So I thought it would be a nice feature too for my app. Then I decided to grab it. I also saw this really nice, colorful thing. I'm sure it was the color that drew me to it, that you can book certain flights. If you can like really look in, you see London Direct on British Airways, Saudi Arabian Airlines has landed, you see those things on it that maybe you're going to London and you just saw, oh, okay, wow, you just book now, because there's an action button down saying, okay, book now, and it will just link you to where you can get those flights. I found that also on a different website. Then travel guide backstories. This particular site is for solo travelers. What this site does is, after you have finished traveling, taking pictures, everything, you can talk about your experience, what you went through, the people you met. You to get there, you can now bring those stories. And oh, sorry, I'm taking it back. You can now bring those stories and drop it on the website. So it's sort of like a review, but it's also like a testimonial. It's like a review, but it's also like a testimonial. So those kind of things get people using your brand, because it's like you just keep giving them assurance that all is going to be fine if I travel alone. Then finally, we have a travel guide map. You get to a place, unless you have a hard copy of a map, you are not sure which route to take. Most cars, when you are able to hire them, they come with a navigation system. But what if you don't have that? Maybe you're on foot. You went to a local environment. You're in a local environment. You can bring out your app and launch your travel guide map feature on it to show you where you are. If you are lost, it shows you where you are. And the person is like, where are you? Can you locate yourself? And you use your map to say, okay, I'm actually between so place, and you get help. Because this has happened when you travel alone. So that's for a travel app. I didn't want to make any example with a food app, not to give too much expo. I really want you to like really get into it and figure this out on your own for your food app. So imagine the kind of images you're going to get for your food app. What do you want what kind of features do you want to see on your food map? Now, the only thing missing now with this particular lightning demo is this. As I was talking to you, I had explained my reasons for why I picked each of these images. Now, the way I said, okay, I'm happy that I'll be able to find everything in one place. The only thing missing in this demo app now, if you notice, I've categorized them differently. I have my travel directory and currency option type. That is what is on this first one on my left, top left corner. Now, what it has is a currency type. I'm in Nigeria now, for instance, and I want to travel and I want to see the currency rates. There's this small green button that has 2 shades of green up there. You can switch the currency right from there. And that is the main reason I have this particular screen grab there. It's nice to just know how much you're paying sometimes. When you get on the site, you're seeing everything is in dollars, and I am in Nigeria. And I don't really know what that means for me, since the currency rate is not the same. So if I get to your site and there's a quick money converter or a quick currency change or something, and I click on it, and everything is showing me in my own currency, then that gives me like a better picture of how to plan my trip. So that's why I picked that particular screen grab. So now I've explained why I picked that screen grab, right? Because of the currency and everything. So what you need to do when you pick it, on the side of maybe just this empty space around, if you notice you have like a big white space around, you can go to the side of that particular screen grab and write a short note on why you picked that particular screen grab and how it's going to fit in well to your app. So you're going to write a small description on the side. You come down to the travel trusted brands. I've said, oh, when popular brands are associated with your products, people trust it more. You can write it small also in the same font size as the headings. You write it on the side. The color palette inspiration, you write why you picked. You don't have to pick plenty. Your own palette could just be one. And you will say why you picked it, and then you write it down. Mine, I picked as much as I did. I want to be able to combine everything. I want to be able to combine, I don't even mind combining the dull colors down with the bright colors up. But I would find of course, we can't use so many colors, but just looking at it, I would be able to say, okay, I don't need this color up. I don't need one or two. I will be picking out the colors I don't need until I arrive at least 3 to 4 colors that I need out of all of these palettes. They're all travel colors, but I can't use all these colors. So I'm going to keep deducting until I get to my favorite 4 colors at least. Then I'm going to write why I picked this particular palette. Then this one I said is because it's displaying information about what kind of house I want to stay in. These pictures of houses on Airbnb shows you the images of the rooms. If you notice, there's a small slider in the images where you could just slide through the images. Those tiny dots below each picture just shows you that there are more pictures that you can flip through to see other angles of these houses. And I felt like it would be a nice feature. If someone wants to travel, they don't know where they are going, but they can see images of where they could be sleeping or where they will be sleeping. It helps them make a decision. Remember, we are solving problems. We are solving accommodation problems for our solo traveler. So this in my head is, this should solve accommodation problems for me. Illustrations, an idea. It would be nice for an onboarding screen. I said that. I will just write it gradually on the side. I come to the other side and talk about why I want travel reviews. I talk about why I want these travel details that would solve my problems at once. I talk about this featured flight plan for most travel destinations. Maybe there's a location people travel to more than others. I want to always feature it so that when you jump on the app, you're closer to your destination than when you go and start searching all over to find it, because it's always going to be the most traveled destinations that I'm going to have here. For me in Nigeria, I'm likely to put Lagos, Abuja, Kano as my most traveled destinations, because those are commercial places. Maybe not Abuja, but Lagos and Kano. So I might decide, okay, I'm going to make them my most traveled destinations where they are always featured in front. Then this story, very cool feature. If I can capture my story and put it for someone to read, it might even help them decide, okay, you know what? I'm not going to London anymore. I'm going to India. I've read this story and it has inspired me, because it's a solo travel app. You want to travel for adventure, you want to travel to relax, you want to do some world discovery. That's what this app is. So I'm giving them as many features that can just help them make up their minds about the experience they want to have when they travel alone. I'm going to write it beside it as well. So everything here is, and also about the travel guide map. Why? If I get lost, I want to be found, things like that. So you're just going to write a short note about the why you selected each of these images and how it will fit in well into your food map. Remember, it does not have to be as much images as this. You can just have 6 good images, 5 good images. However, you are inspired as you go through 3 different food apps. You put them, you talk about them, you categorize them, then you give a brief description for why you have each of these screenshots. Okay, so that's that about lightning demo. So this is our task for lightning demo. Spend around 20 to 30 minutes individually thinking of products that could inspire a solution. Remember, every screenshot I had there was inspiring a solution. You don't have to end up using all of those screenshots in your future, but as the spirit leads when you are building this app, take screenshots, share it on Microsoft Teams the way I did. You can use Whimsical as well. You know how you use the Whimsical board to place different things on. That is the same way you can use Whimsical to do this. You go to first and foremost, you're going to go to 3 different websites that have similarities to your products. Then you take screen grabs of specific. If you notice, mine were different rectangular shaped screenshots, and I just captured the place, just the particular place that was most inspiring for me. I didn't have to screen grab the entire screen. Screen grab allows you to pick where you want to screen grab, and then you just download them. When you are done downloading all your images, you go back to Whimsical, then you pick and drop them. It's the same way you see mine arranged with the different headings, and do not forget the descriptions. Now, spend 20 to 30 minutes finding inspiration. You go through as many sites as possible before you decide to. You can even use more than 3. I think because I'm saying 3, 3, 3, you can use more than 3 sites. You can use as many sites as you can go through, but at least 3 sites. But more than 3, more than 4, more than 5, more than 10. Wherever you can find a food app, a food website, food app that you can see a feature that you believe would work well for your products, that would inspire you in any way, screen grab it, then you come to Whimsical or your board, arrange them the way mine was arranged, and then don't forget to write your descriptions on the side. Look up companies that compete with your products. If you have other companies that compete with your product, those are the first targets. Go and see what is making their product, what is making them stand out. Why are people talking about them? How special are these people? Then you go through their features, see how you are able to navigate their websites, their mobile app, and tell yourself, okay, I'm going to add this feature to mine. I'm going to add that feature to mine. My app would really work well with an element like this. Oh, my app will work well with an element like that. And you just pick what's important, and you move to the next company. Look up companies that have similarities to your product. Look up anything that inspires you that could be a good example. It even doesn't have to compete with or relate to your product. That's another interesting thing about this. You are building food app, Abby. You can just randomly fall on an app that has nothing to do with food, and you're going to still find like a very cute element there that you can also still carry and put as part of your design. Take screenshots of each piece of inspiration. Write a small short caption next to each piece of inspiration, saying why it inspires you, which is the short notes I just finished describing. Why are you picking this particular piece? Why would this be, you just explain everything. back. As usual, for more guidance, watch video tutorials on how to create a lightning demo on YouTube. Good luck. Moving on to our final module for today. Sorry about that. Okay. It's not supposed to come now, but okay. So our final module for today, ideation, aka brainstorming. Brainstorming. The same way you go on the sites, look for what will inspire you. Now we know what our problem is. We've gone to look for inspiration for the kind of features we want to have on our app. We have done those things. It's time for us to start bringing ideas for our own apps. Remember that those are borrowed ideas. But now we want to just sit down and think of fresh ideas. Our ideas that possibly we haven't seen when we're looking for inspiration now. Remember, if you want to penetrate a competition, a market, you have to be creating something that those ones are missing. So you've gone through different products, you've gone through a lot of things, you've seen what they have, and you have also seen what they don't have. Then now it is time for you to come up with ideas. Maybe because of those things that you have seen they don't have, it can also be a basis for your own ideas. So how does this work? Ideation is a creative process where designers generate ideas in sessions. They are called brainstorming sessions. Okay, and here is saying they are brainstorming the worst possible idea. Like it's a free space, a judgment-free space where everybody just says whatever is on their mind. Some ideas will sound foolish. You will laugh over some ideas. They will sound funny. They will sound weird. But what this brainstorming session is saying is allow it all to flow. Allow it, whatever comes to your mind, allow it to flow. Participants are supposed to have open minds. That's your team now. Let them have open minds to produce as many ideas as they can. And you know, for your project, you are the only one doing it. So practically, you open your own mind for ideas on how you can address what your problem statement has facilitated. All these things is going to come because now you know your problem. Now you have a problem statement. I now know what the issue is. Let me come up with ideas. Let me think. What kind of thing can solve this? What kind of idea? No matter how ridiculous, just you allow yourself to keep getting these ideas dropping. As they are dropping, you're writing them, you're scribbling them. If writing is going to take time, put a record on your phone, record it. So that by the time you are done putting the ideas as a recording, you write it out when you are done. You write it out when you're done. Some people are fast in writing, so they can write it, pause, think of another idea, pause, think of another idea. But if you feel like you are in one state where the ideas are all rushing in, press record on your phone and record it. Also, you can be in a place where you don't have access to pen and paper, but you have your mobile phone, and this idea drops. You record it. However, since this is a session with your team, there might not be much room for going anywhere else. In fact, there's no room for going anywhere else. That can happen to you outside this session. But this session particularly, is something that works very well when you do it with your team. So that's pretty much it. Okay, remember we said it's a place, it's a judgment-free space, and every idea counts. Every idea counts. Then we are also saying no idea is a waste. Every idea can give birth. Every worst idea that might sound worst, you can give birth to a really solid idea that will change the entire of the app. So that's why it needs to be a judgment-free environment. That's why it needs to be a judgment-free environment. Okay. We've covered a lot. Let's drive this home. All right. So in this phase, you're trying to generate ideas with your team. The more the perspectives, the more ideas you generate. You will have, imagine you're 10 in your team. This one, for the purpose of this particular particular training, you are alone. You are bringing up ideas, right? So now by the time you are working as a professional UI UX designer and a researcher, you are working with your team, and maybe people are even 5 in a room, and then everybody just burst out their ideas from different angles, 5 different perspectives, and you can imagine the array of ideas that you're going to have. You will have an array of ideas until you narrow it down to the one that works. But first things first, the ideas need to flow. Let them come first. Eventually, you work on which one you are going to use. But the most important thing is for the ideas to arrive first. So instead of thinking of one perfect solution, think about your problem from all conceivable angles to get several possible solutions. Remember, we are not looking for so many solutions because we have one problem statement. We are looking for one major solution that would address it. But when we are brainstorming, we are allowed to have as many ideas as we need to have to brainstorm until we have gathered these ideas. We are going to start sifting it out. We're going to pick. We keep removing one idea away, another idea away, all the way to getting the idea that works for us. Okay, so that was a brief one. This is our final task for today. Brainstorm at least 10 possible solutions for your product. I'm talking about your food app. Whenever I say your product, it is your food app I'm talking about. So brainstorm at least 10 possible solutions for your food app. What kind of features can you bring? What kind of, what kind of solutions can you bring? Of course, all features are trying to solve a problem. So I'm just going to say features. Think about so many ideas as to how helpful this app will be when it is finally out there. Remember, to brainstorm, you need to do the following. Set a clear problem to solve. We have our problem statement, Tabi. Set a time limit. That's as regards to the sessions now. Set a time limit. Let's say, 20 to 30 minutes tops. Then we'll just use it to come up with as many ideas as possible. It's usually called a design sprint. That's what it's called in UI. So whenever you hear a design sprint, brainstorming is one of the major things that is going on in that phase. No negativity, no judgments, no criticism, no negative body language. Don't laugh at somebody's idea. Don't give them the look of, are you serious? Is this all you can come up with? None of that stuff. Aim for quantity, not quality. Are you saying aim for quantity? Like the quality of the idea is not the issue. Just have as many ideas. Quantity. At the end of this session, you want to have as many ideas as possible, not the quality of the idea. As long as it's related to a solution for your products, it does not matter how lean it sounds. Encourage crazy or weird ideas. If in a group, build on the ideas of others. Someone says something, or it doesn't, and then what he says triggers another angle to the idea they have mentioned. When that person says something, you're like, oh, that makes sense. So now imagine if we added this to it. That gives birth like to another whole idea. One conversation at a time. No talking over others. There are rules to these things. No talking over others. Don't make people feel small. Don't make people feel like, oh, you're the one who can prefer the best ideas while they can't. No. Because if you really want people to bring out everything that is in their hearts, all the thoughts that is in their guts, they need to feel free. They need to feel comfortable. They don't need to be feeling judged. It's not about showing any intellectual capacity at this point. It doesn't matter. Because you'll be surprised where your best ideas will just come from. As always, how to achieve your goal of becoming a UX designer. Research other materials online after each class to gain more insight. Understand one topic before proceeding to the next topic. Ask as many questions as you can. Follow other UI UX designers on social media for inspiration. Read articles on uxdesigninstitute.com, uxput.com, uxplanet.com, uxmatters.com, uxpin.com. Finally, join UI UX community on social media to network, to collaborate. Maybe you want to build a portfolio. You can collaborate with other graphic designers. Remember, when you're trying to land yourself a UI UX job, it's not what you are able to achieve alone that is usually the part that interviewers look out for. Most times they want to see if you're a team player and how you were able to execute your role in an entire project and how well you're able to work with your team. And especially your processes. That is what they are looking out for. So don't be always wanting to do things alone. You show you can do well more when you are able to show that you can work with people. Because when you are employed, you won't go and be working alone. You're going to work with people. So if you are used to working with people, it's going to show your capability more than when you work alone. I just thought I should put that out there. Okay, so thank you, as always, for being a part of this class. I'll see you next Saturday for another module. Do enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye-bye. I'm going to be dropping my PowerPoint as usual. I'm going to be dropping, okay. All right. Have a lovely weekend. See you next week, Saturday.